I'm not going to lie, this month felt a bit underwhelming for me. I contemplated even making this video because there were very few songs that I actually enjoyed this month. However, I had already promised myself that I would at least try and make a monthly review every month this year, as I kind of fumbled the ball a bit last year. And I couldn't just miss the first month. What kind of example would I be setting then? That being said, I'm also a strong believer in the notion that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think constructive criticism is a necessary component of any medium, but man, I found it hard to find even one or two things I liked in some of these songs. It just wasn't my month, and that's fine. One thing I'm not going to do though is shit on a bunch of songs for 30 minutes straight. That's just not my style. This video is going to be short. Just the few songs that I truly enjoyed and the few that I saw genuine potential in. What I'm trying to say is, don't get your feelings hurt if a song that you liked isn't here. It all just boils down to personal taste, and I feel it is best to leave some things unsaid. Now, with all that out of the way, please buckle your seatbelts and get ready for the ride. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for groups paying homage to sounds of the past. CSR with their lovelies, G-Friend adjacent music, Wu all finding the perfect balance between 3rd and 4th gen styles, Elas reminding us of how epic 2nd gen songs could be in their earlier works, and Just to be taking the BAP inspiration a bit too seriously at times. But even all of these groups managed to add their own flavor in alongside it. I even think their first two releases did a way better job of showcasing an older style of music than this one did. This is a song that you've heard before. It's a classic Magical Girl track, but it doesn't do anything special. A bouncy piano introduces us to the song, light fluttering strings singing in the chorus with perfect unblemished vocals to match. A music video that introduces us to a world not unlike our own, but where the colors pop a bit more and the flowers are always in bloom. I could mention a million other songs like it. I've really come to like this style of music, but if I'm looking for a song like this, I'm more than likely to turn towards a group like Oh My Girl, who have managed to add their own colors to such a style before. That being said, I do hope that this is something that they do again. I just want to see them put their own spin on it this time. They came really close to making a name for themselves with the style of music that they were making, and I don't want them to lose that. But as with any other group that tries out this sort of concept, they're going to have to add their own thing into the mix to make it their own. Otherwise, it's just going to fall flat again. I really want to add these girls to the list of K-pop groups that make K-pop K-pop again, and they're not the only ones struggling to add their own twist onto an old concept. I think they have something interesting going on here, I just want them to expand their horizons a bit more. The magical world concept isn't overdone by any means, in fact I don't think it's been done enough. But the few groups that have managed to keep their music sounding fresh even years after its initial release are groups like Oh My Girl and WJ is In, who managed to make their music stand out, not only within this concept, but in the industry as a whole. It's something I think this group can achieve, but they need to stop looking at this style of music as something of the past and start looking at it as a base to build onto. I have really high hope for these girls, I just don't want them to give up on the style without finding something within it first. Moonbin and Sanha are such a fun duo. I love hearing their music, watching them perform together. I even love watching their content as a duo. I think they've really made a name for themselves even outside of their group. Madness isn't nearly as interesting as a song as the amazing introduction that Bad Idea was, nor did it offer as much as a shock factor as the Deceitful Who did. It falls kind of in the middle, the final puzzle piece to fully flesh out their sound as a duo. When the subunit was first announced, and I got a feel for the concept they were going for, I was a bit wary. The whole sexy, sensual side of music had always been Moonbin's thing. Even in Astro, that was the image that had stuck after a while. Whereas Sanha was the softer, cozier side of music. A guitar and comforting melody. That was Sanha. So where exactly did he fit into this style of music? I just didn't see how this would work. but man was I wrong to doubt him. Don't get me wrong, Moonbin has absolutely had his moments too, but this duo has given Sanha so many opportunities that he wouldn't have ever otherwise gotten. He's come so far in his dance and performance, he can even deliver lines now that I would have never even dreamed of him having before. He has a whole new aura to him in the subunit, and it's insane how just a couple of songs can completely rework someone's image. Their music is still very Moonbin coded. Madness is a song with a deep bass and an atmospheric layer to it. A sensual soundtrack with a clean polish, dark makeup, classy clothes, and lyrics that speak of an unfilled desire. All things that are exactly Moonbin's style. If anything, I think Sanha has just molded himself perfectly to fit in. But either way, I'm not complaining. They have become one of my favorite duos to watch. Astro's future is a bit uncertain as of now, but knowing that these two have already resigned, I hope at the very least that we can see more from the two of them. I think they have something really neat going on here, and K-pop needs more duos anyways.
1, 2, 3, let me alone.
Speaking of great duos, Primrose's debut earlier this month left me the most excited for more. I first heard this song on Spotify and hadn't realized that they were a duo until I watched the music video, and I definitely was not expecting it to only be two girls. Not only does this song just sound like a really powerful debut from a new girl group on the scene, but both girls managed to spread themselves out enough throughout the song that if you told me there were secretly 5 girls on this track, I'd believe you. It's a very powerful song, but it also feels a bit more matured than most debuts. It has a thumping bass line that nearly overpowers the track in some places, hyping up certain parts of the song and making sure you know before a new part is showing up. It feels all around just very grand. It's not anything new, but it's something that when you see it, you know that they set out to prove something. It's bold, eye-catching. Even without the music video, these girls had my attention the first time I heard this song. The music video definitely plays a role in amplifying the song though. It's very cinematic in theme, introducing us to a majestic castle somewhere far away. They definitely play into the dark royalty concept more than anything, painting in dark reds and blacks across an otherwise pure white room. It lacks a throne, but I have no doubt there are 2 dripping red chairs sitting across the hall, waiting for someone to claim them as their own. Is the overall song a bit cheap in some places? Sure, absolutely. There's no denying that the production isn't as clean as others. The music video is a glorified dance practice, and sometimes the mixing is a bit off in places. But they do a great job of hiding it. I recognize not every company is going to have a budget, and I'm not even talking about a big 3 level budget. I mean anything at all. But I like when companies are embarrassed by this fact. I like when they try to hide behind great editing and a pretty background, when they're willing to put genuine effort behind a song and music video despite their shortcomings. It tells me that they really believe in their artists and don't just see them as a quick money grab. I hope these girls are able to show us more in the future, but for now, I think that this was a great first step.
The devil said.
Am I the only one that genuinely really likes this song? I mean, I thought we all liked TXT for their concepts anyways, and let me tell you, this is peak TXT. This is what I've been waiting to see from them for a while now. A conceptually driven album that combines their earlier, more fantasy-like concept with their darker musical stylings that they've been playing with recently. I don't know if there was a better move for this group than this. The song itself isn't my favorite of theirs, but it's still interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of Annie drops in general. I think there's a right and wrong way to do them, and this song borders that line hard. There's no doubt that is what makes this track so memorable. Sugar Ride feels like 2 sides of the same story. Black and white, heaven and hell, daydream and nightmare. Temptation is a weighted word. Addiction, euphoria, and seduction, dragging it down to ensnare it in their traps. The whole song and music video just feels like a bad trip. Heavenly in the beginning, but with a simple snap of somebody's fingers, suddenly you're spiraling into hallucinations that you can't escape from, enslaved by your own desires. The opening verse and pre-chorus of the song feels free and breezy, yet there's something in the instrumental that makes it feel as if I'm listening to it through a white sheet. It's hazy and muffled, almost as if it's fake. When the chorus drops, that layer snaps back as well. Suddenly the song feels more clear and cohesive, even if we lost a big portion of it. The last minute or so of the song shines the most for me. The happy guitar in the verses joins into the darker chorus and adds a finish to it that it couldn't achieve before. It elevates this track just enough to make me want to replay it again after it's over. It's an interesting song if nothing else, and I think they deliver on the concept perfectly. I hope to see more like this from them in the future as well. I was so happy when I saw that these girls would be having a comeback. I absolutely loved Boyfriend last year, but after that they kind of just disappeared, and I was really scared that it may have been it for them. Luckily though, that wasn't the case, and they've managed to come back stronger than ever. Aurora feels like a tribute to their earlier, quirkier side of music. It's upbeat and cutesy, the colors shine a bit brighter, and the music has a bit more to offer. But it's still a bit more laid back than their earlier releases. It's a nice, easy listen, even if it is a bit more on the cutesy side. One thing I really like about this song is that the girls seem to really enjoy the music that they make. A good feeling can really amplify a song for me, even if it doesn't have anything else to offer, and that is the one thing that these girls are really great at. There's only so much to say on a song such as this. It's just a good, fun time. More than anything, I'm excited to see these girls making music again and seemingly enjoying it as well. I really hope it won't take them as long this time to come back with something new.
Okay, follow me.
I'm sure that everybody has their own thoughts and feelings on the whole AI idols thing, but personally, I really enjoy it. Do I think AIs will ever replace real people? No, not in a million years, but I do still think it's fun to see them when they do appear. One thing I do want to see a lot more of, though, is how these groups came to be. Don't get me wrong, good music is good music. Pandora is a great song, it's catchy, fun, and it definitely would be a great introduction to a group. And while all of that is great, I really just want to see more behind the scenes. How does everything work? How long do they plan for this stuff? Who are the animators, the singers? There's so much I don't know that I really want to know. 3D animation has come a long ways, but it has a lot farther to go. The music video has some stunning scenes in it. I can only imagine how long each individual shot took, but when you put them into the real world, there are still some bugs that need to be adjusted. As far as I can tell, these girls are pure animation, so even with all the issues, it's still cool to see them perform in the quote-unquote real world. AI idols have a long way to go. I just want to be able to follow them through their journey. I want to see how everything works, how these idols are created. The handful that we have so far, we still know so little about them and the process that went into them. I hope we get to see a lot more behind the scenes working with these girls, because that is what I'm most interested in.
I
have to go on. Reason.
I know this isn't exactly a comeback, and I don't usually tend to talk about these sorts of songs as I feel like they resonate with everyone in different ways. But I feel like this is one that I really need to talk about, even if it's short. Dreamcatcher was quite literally the group that got me into K-pop, and the journey they've had is still just insane to me. When the song came out, I expected a lighter song with some heartfelt lyrics. Not the absolute giant of a song that this was. It's ferocious and heavy, and so not what I was expecting. But if anything, I think it just proves how much these girls love everything that they do. Throughout all of these years, they've stuck with what works for them, refusing to comply to what the industry wanted them to do, even if at times it ostracized them. Even now sometimes it does, and yet they've never given up on it, evolving with it rather than changing it. They're not the first group to have such a major climax in their careers. Hell, I still think Newest holds the record for the longest time without a first win by quite a few years, but they're the first that I followed with them through it all. They're the first that I've seen crawl inch by inch over the years to success. I'm not gonna lie, I got really emotional watching this. More than anything, it just makes me happy to know that everything that they have achieved, they've done in their own way, and it makes me even more happy to know that they're so proud of that. Here's to many, many more years with the same enthusiasm. I really believe that they have so much more to show us, and I refuse to believe that they're stopping here. These girls are always diverting and exceeding my expectations. I kept on waiting for the song to turn into a classic girl crush song, or maybe even take on the same route that their debut did, but it never got there. As always, these girls decided to do something different once again. Normally, I think it's best to find a sound and stick with it within a girl's group's earlier careers, but I can't deny that all 3 of their songs so far have gone above and beyond, even if all 3 are so different. This whole coming-of-age style of music isn't a new trend in K-pop, but it seems to be having a resurgence recently. We had more than enough songs within just the last few months that went along this style. It's definitely a rising style within the scene, and I'm not complaining. It's one of my favorite types of music. Now, it's all just up to how one will stand out with it. Honestly though, I'm not so sure Rose Blossom tries to stand out. I think they're still relying on the sudden and quick concept changes to keep people's attention, but even without having a standout concept or sound, this song is still really enjoyable for me. I think it's more than just luck now that they've hit the nail on the head 3 times in a row now with 3 very different songs. Or maybe I'm just a sucker for songs like these, a song that teaches you how to enjoy the little things in life, how to find color in the solitude. Watching this music video felt like experiencing a story. Even if I don't know who these girls are or what their lives were like before this 3-minute music video, I feel like I just went on an adventure with them, grew up with them. Maybe that's these girls' strong suits. Finding the perfect atmosphere to fit their songs, because every time I listen to one, I feel like I'm sucked into a new world and story. I was already quite fond of this group, but now I'm even more excited to see what they'll do next, and if they can keep this up for much longer. Anyways, that's all that I have for today. Thank you all so much for watching, I really hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you next time, travelers.